Okay, maybe we can maybe start with introductions. Hi everyone, I'm Div, co-founder and CEO of WizCommerce. As you all might know, WizCommerce is an AI-powered wholesale platform for sales reps and online sales. Today we have a very interesting webinar topic from showroom to screens, secrets to scaling wholesale online. And we have two panelists, Cameron and Colleen, who've both sort of led digital transformation projects, have led transformation of their business from just feet on street, sales rep driven, trade show driven to now a major part of business coming from online sales. I'll let Cameron and Colleen sort of introduce themselves. Cameron, maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. I'm Cameron Allison. I lead e-commerce marketplaces at Jaipur Living, which is a premium rug manufacturer selling to designers, retailers, and e-commerce partners. I've spent about a decade in the wholesale space, helping move from relationship only analog workflows to digital revenue engines.
Colleen, you want to go next? Colleen, you're muted.
Good thing. I'm Colleen Daly. I'm the vice president from Howard Elliott. We are a manufacturer of decorative mirrors, accessories, accent furniture, wall art, and we also have a domestic cut and sew facility just outside of Chicago. Um, I have been with the company for about 18 years in various different roles. So I have worked from the customer success team all the way up to being the vice president of the company. So I have my hands in everything most days.
Sounds good. I think I want to start with something very basic. I want to just start from why even think about B2B website today. A lot of people we speak to, they don't know why they should go online. Their customers can order, customers can call in, their customers can go to the rep. So Colleen, maybe we'll start with you. Like what prompted this overall transformation of like actually launching a B2B website?
Uh, for us, especially when working with designers, nobody works during regular business hours anymore. So they're working after hours when most wholesale companies are closed, most businesses are closed. And with people working with slimmer staff these days, you have to be there for them when they're shopping. So for us, it was super important to have a functional website that served all of the purposes that they needed when we weren't physically able to be there to take an order or answer questions or any of those kinds of things.
Got it. Got it. And Colin, do you think it's only because of the working hours that this is needed, or do you have customers who just purely shop digital now?
No, we have a lot of customers that only shop digitally, which kind of blows me away because we have these giant showrooms full of product and some people only shop online. But um, I think the truth of the matter is that companies like Amazon have put us in that need it now kind of perspective. Um, and people are so focused on being online that it's even hard to have somebody pick up the phone during office hours, right? They would rather talk to a chatbot than pick up the phone. So our website had to be everything that they were going to need without us.
Cameron, from your vantage point at Jaipur Living, I know website is kind of a core revenue channel and it's not just a catalog. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what you hear from your customers, right? And what I think a lot of the investment you guys put in today is on the website front. And so maybe talk through some of the reasons for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think starting at the base of it, the buyer's behaviors have already changed. Everything that's meaningful as far as it relates to an order has touched a digital somewhere or someplace, whether it's search, inspiration, looking up specs, an inventory check. So the evolution from catalog to transactional B2B commerce, I think is natural. I think that just like Colleen said, it's all hours of the day. You can't run a 24/7 operation. Um, the good thing or the nice thing, I think, one of the things to point out is that it's a place where you're fully in control. If you run the site, you have a full control over the assortment, the pricing, the story, the way you show up, or the truth. And I think that that's very important. And it scales one of your best reps. It's strong. B2B site is basically your best rep. It's available 24/7. It has perfect memory, doesn't make mistakes. Yeah.
Got it. I think one of the things that I hear often and is people just kind of believe that their buyers will not shop online because they feel like their buyers are just too used to a way of working, or my buyer base is not that young, is constantly a feedback we also get. So maybe some of those things, either of you can sort of talk about, like what personas do you see shop digitally, and are they really that different from, people who would shop otherwise at shows and through your reps, or is it are buyers shopping everywhere?
I think that it's pretty across the board. I mean, buyers have had to embrace digital materials in a number of different ways, right? There's a lot of companies that aren't producing full catalogs any longer. Um, and part of the reason for that, we don't produce a full catalog anymore, a printed catalog, because the minute you print it, it becomes antiquated. When we're all changing products constantly, and not that, and we don't always have control over products that have to get discontinued, right? There's issues with supply chain or whatever it is. So we are starting to see some people who normally would have been very pen and paper, want to touch, feel, see the physical product shopping online. And they're embracing it in some ways more than the younger people may be doing.
Cameron, what about you? Do you see a very different persona shopping through you online versus the people who come at the High Point show or talk to your reps?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I think it's a mixture across the board, kind of like Colleen said. We did some interesting work to really identify who's purchasing from us today. And when you look at the youngest generation, they're the most digital, and they're the up and coming. They're the biggest opportunity. Um, a lot of them are starting businesses right out of school. They have everything at their fingertips. They're looking for a robust experience to manage their business efficiently, allow them to place orders. So the investment in the digital space is all it serves the today, but also as you focus in on the next generation of customers, it will serve them better and more efficiently, and that's what they're seeking out. So when they look to develop a relationship, it may not be the traditional relationship we're looking for, or we're not looking for, but used to, which is we shop in a showroom, we have a physical catalog or a sample. They want to see it digitally. They can resonate with that product in a digital space. And if they need something like a sample or they have a question, they easy access to get what they need to serve their customer.
Got it. Got it. I think another interesting thing I hear a lot is some people believe that website takes away that those chances for them to actually talk to their customer. So a lot of people, and this is kind of sounds insane to me sometimes, but people think like customer coming to them and emailing them is actually a good thing, and if they go digital, they will lose that relationship. So what are some thoughts on that?
I think that from a sales rep perspective, some of them get concerned about giving customers the ability to function too much on their own, because they look at that sometimes like the manufacturer that they represent may take that customer away from them because they're ordering direct or something like that. I think that the ones that are really embracing where we're at and where their customers are at should utilize these websites as additional sales tools and supports for their customers, because most customers look to their sales rep to be an extension of their staff, right? They want the best salespeople can provide a service to them can help them select product, can give them all of the information, and they're not just order takers.
Yeah.
And so they should be using the websites that we're building in tandem with their sales, with their sales appointments or whatever. Go to these websites that we've built out, create carts for your customers, create wish lists, and then make it easier for the customer to order for them.
Cameron, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, Colleen said it great. I mean, the one thing I'd say is the rep doesn't lose business when we invest in digital. They lose business when the brand makes it hard to buy. Um, and I think that sums it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. I think moving on, like I think we spoke about why build your website, spoke about some of the concerns people have when going digital. But some of these website projects seem to people like massive investment, and not just in terms of money, but also time they might have to invest. Not everyone has a team that's used to sort of managing these digital projects. So I think coming to like what outcomes did you set for yourself to define success? Um, it's also coming from a point where people think that this website is just going to take share of their existing business. So maybe I do $10 million today. People do believe that they'll still do the same amount of business. It's just shifting that portion that used to come from trade shows now online. So maybe talk through some of the outcomes that you set for yourself when going through this process, and some of the results. Cameron, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, why don't I jump in and I'll start. So in my previous role, I was with another rug company, Fazy, out of Dallas, and we went through a rebuild. And I think keeping it simple, um, their site was a complete overhaul, fresh build, more revenue flowing through digital was a simple outcome for year one. Um, Ordering online, using it to build cards, quotes. And the other outcome that we focused on was less manual work for reps and customer service, less keying orders, and essentially more selling. So the simpler we could keep the rebuild, um, it made the process move faster. It was not what can the site do, it was what must we achieve in year one.
Got it. And
Yeah,
Colleen?
and I think for us, our new website, we really wanted to see more traffic. We wanted to see more people going to the website, finding us. You know, Fewer and fewer people are attending all of the trade shows. It's getting more and more expensive to travel. It's getting more expensive, as people are working with smaller uh, employees and staff numbers and those kinds of things. They have to be able to shop when your website. And for us, we really wanted to get more engagement on the site. We had a previous website that we really felt like we lost a lot of users because it was difficult for them to use. And so our goal this time around was really to make the website easy, get more eyes on it, have the website reflect who we were as a company and what our product looked like. And in doing so, we have seen that over half of the people, like three-quarters of the people that have approached us on our website to get access to the back end, so the pricing and all of that, have all been new accounts that have come to us, not people that we have solicited. So from that perspective and getting new eyes on it, it's been probably more successful than a trade show has been.
Interesting. So it's not a zero-sum game. I mean, just going digital helps you acquire a new set of customers that otherwise you wouldn't have acquired, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Colleen, what do you do with those customers? Do those customers still get reps, or are those customers just
Yeah.
native?
Yeah, so they do, anytime somebody registers for access on the website, if they're an existing customer, they're already assigned to whoever's in their territory. If they're a new customer, they do get assigned to the sales rep, or if they happen to be in an unmanned territory, they get assigned to one of our internal customer success people. So they've always got a person behind the computer that can help them out. We don't like to let anybody flail out there, even when territories change or a rep goes or something like that, we're always sending a message saying, hey, we've got you. Don't worry, we've still got you covered. Here's your internal person that can help you out. And, the website's always there.
Got it. Got it. Colin, and Cameron, one of the things that we've seen across data is um, websites also help reactivate kind of lost buyers. Is that something that you've seen in your sort of website projects, that some of the customers that maybe were churned or inactive, like has it helped you kind of activate some of those lost customers?
To
Yeah,
an
when
extent.
the catalog, sorry, go ahead,
Go ahead,
Colleen.
Cameron. No, you're fine.
When it's easy to find the product, I think that's a huge change for people when they realize the site's been rebuilt. And speaking from past experience around campaigning for that, people come back, they want to experience it, and if they can find what they're looking for in 60 seconds or less, or they see that it's easier to just self-serve for the person that doesn't want human interaction or doesn't need a rep necessarily to place an order. Yes, better engagement, bringing people back, especially when they haven't, explored the brand in a while.
Yeah, it's giving us all a like awesome marketing opportunity to go back to all those people that were active on our previous sites, um, and re-engage them with the brand. Hey, you haven't registered on our new site. Did you know that we've rebuilt it? It's boom, boom, boom. Here are the good things about it. And we are seeing some people get back online that we haven't seen shop us in a long time.
Interesting. Interesting. And I think, Colin, you said something interesting in the beginning, like, you felt like your previous website was leading, it was too hard to use, people were kind of dropping off. Was
Hmm.
it something, how did you find that out? Like, I think was it anecdotal? Like, did customers come to you and tell you, like, hey, this is just not working for me? Or was it through some data that you were able to
It
figure?
was it was a combination of things. I mean, between customers complaining at trade shows about the fact that the website was confusing or hard to utilize. We would get a lot of phone calls into the office. They want it to be as easy as possible. And our former website, when a customer would log in, would take them to a different platform and they thought that they were leaving our website. And that was concerning. Everybody's very concerned about cybersecurity and those kinds of things also. So they were like, this doesn't make sense to me. And they'll walk away from it. I mean, in this day and age, if something isn't easy, there's not a lot of people that are willing to invest time in that, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and what we're finding now is because it's easy and the process is seamless, and when a customer logs in or doesn't log in, the site looks exactly the same, they just get extra information. It's connecting all the dots and they're doing everything. We've found that when a customer requests access on the website, they're doing it for a purpose. So the minute they get, I mean, usually within an hour of them getting granted access, they're already shopping. So they're coming to us for a reason, and that's helping convert them even faster.
Hmm. Interesting. And that's a good point. Like, maybe one of the ways in which you can find these things is just to talk to more customers. And I think
Mhm.
lesser and lesser people do the basics. Just go to your customers and ask them how they would like to shop. And I think most of them will say like everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're right in that point of sometimes we're not asking the right people the right questions. A lot of us on the wholesale end may, talk to our reps and say, tell me what you're hearing on the road because you're our eyes and ears on the road, but are you getting the real answers as opposed to talking directly to your customers? What do you need? How can we provide better service to you? The customers want to know that we as manufacturers actually care what they think, and want to help them. And so we took a lot of that into account when we built our new site.
Interesting. And I think we'll come to a little bit of like how do you design the right UX and UI in the upcoming section. But Cameron, I know you do a lot of like you're always in the data and in the details and you're collecting all these signals. So maybe talk us through some of the insights you got along the way, like which led you to believe like this investment is worth it and this is the right place to focus.
Yeah, I think what Colleen said, I mean, is the simplest place to start is talk to the customer, talk with reps. And the more you engage and understand how the digital environment impacts them in the what they're interested in seeing. But then taking, it a step further, the data tells a story, and if you can connect the dots, which is kind of the next level to it, you can see trends in traffic. You can compare customers that are buying today to customers that haven't purchased from you in a while. And when you start to really dig down beneath the layers and start to connect the dots, you will find that there's a correlation. It just almost amplifies the story that you heard verbally. It exists there in the data set. And as you're tracking performance, we talk about return on investment, you're tracking performance. Every customer that re-engages with you is a win. When you're looking for simple metrics to ensure that you have the ship steered in the right direction and that the investment was worth it, because it's like a snowball. It's just going to pick up over time.
Makes sense. We have some questions, so I thought we can kind of take some questions along the way. I think one question, and I think we kind of touched upon this, but how do you convince reps that the website is a tool for them and not a threat to their business? And I think I hear a lot that I think Colleen, you mentioned it. Some of the reps try to keep the ordering with them because they feel like, the manufacturer might take it away from them. So how do you give them that confidence, and what are, some ways that have worked for you all?
I think for us, the easiest thing, especially working with WizCommerce, was that the tool that we're giving them on the road to work and sell our product is exactly the same tool that they're getting on the website experience. So they don't have anything to feel threatened by, because it's all the same tool. I think it's also giving them the confidence to know that their customers are getting the information when they need it, because we're providing them more on the website. So it really is helping them, giving them visibility to abandoned carts. That in itself helps the reps build more sales, because maybe they didn't know that a customer was looking at product or working on something, and now they can go into their dashboards and see those abandoned carts and approach those customers.
Hmm. So more transparency, essentially. If the reps know everything that's happening on the website, it makes them feel less threatened,
Yeah,
but more they can look at it as a new form of data point that they can capture and actually utilize to make more sales.
yeah, for sure.
Cameron, anything you guys did differently, or uh, how was the process of convincing reps that, because also I feel like reps are a great channel to drive adoption on the website. They are meeting the customer. If they can show the website and new capabilities, they can actually convince customers to use it as a tool. But how do you convince them that this is not going to take their job? And now this everyday new conversation about AI taking the job, and now website is taking the job, so people naturally feel threatened.
Yeah, I think a couple of different perspectives. Reps that are included in the process, if you're doing a rebuild or a new build, or are going to adopt a lot faster, and they're going to become excited because they've been able to leave their mark and give their feedback and opinion. There's definitely a quick evolution once a site goes live or is a rebuild. Reps want something to talk about when they go to see an account. They want a something. It is a flyer. It's a market event. It's a catalog. If you have something physically in your hand, they need something. It's very hard to go walk in front of a customer without a something. So the minute you make the site one of those somethings that they can engage a customer with when they're on the road and walking in a showroom door or into a design firm, it's a tool in their toolkit. I think reps will see it eventually. They see it as their partner. They don't want to be online 24/7 answering questions. What's the inventory on this? What's the price on this? I need to place this order. So it becomes their sidekick, just like WizCommerce becomes their sidekick on the road. The site kind of plays that same role for self-service. So the minute they realize that, I think it allows them to focus on the bigger thing, the biggest opportunity, their strategy. it allows them to it allows them to plug themselves in differently into the business and the customer, and the results uh, are in the sales and the paycheck for them, and they will see it for sure.
I I want to ask this question slightly differently. When I don't know if you guys saw reps being hesitant, was it the top reps that ever showed this concern, or was it usually the reps that are underperformers? Because I did field visits last July, and I actually saw that reps do a lot more than just take orders. I mean, in Jaipur Living's case, Cameron, I saw them like going through the entire swatch library, replacing swatches, and it takes a lot. It took like 2 hours to go through the entire swatch library. They're giving all sorts of recommendations, they're showing samples. So I feel like if a rep does all that, they would be less concerned about a website taking their sort of commission away.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I think
mean,
that go ahead, Cameron.
no, go ahead, Kelly.
I haven't fully formulated the thought yet. Sorry.
It's a tricky one. I think reps always in the back of their mind think that, the customer is theirs. They own it. There's something to be taken. I think there's a lot of benefits in getting people comfortable. Yeah, they've got a lot to do. They'll serve a lot more customers and a lot more efficiently the better the tools. There's a constant scramble for iterations and improvement of the site, of tools, product data. It's never
Mhm.
going to stop. And the faster we lean into the technology, and it can accelerate the help that we provide them, and more importantly, the experience for the customer, the easier it is for us to acquire the customer, keep them ordering. Customers who feel well taken care of order more. And the better the tools that you have, we know for a fact that they order more. And there's definitely a paradigm shift happening all over the digital space when it comes to serving the trade.
And I think, Div, you had asked about whether it was our more seasoned reps or the newer, the ones that were doing the most business, and whether they were the ones that were adopting it. And I think that that's it's split, right? You get some of them that are the all day, everyday performers, but they've been with us for 25 years and they're kind of set in their ways. And in some instances, we're teaching them how to utilize the tools and why it's better for them. Um, Others, I think that, I think you have a generation of reps. There's not a lot of them, but you have a generation of reps that got into the business when it was only iPad apps and tools like that. So they just automatically integrate into it. Um, and they're utilizing the tools. I think that being able to provide them with something different to help them sell does help them adopt the technology faster. On the inside, we all know our product. We know all of our SKUs. If somebody says, "Do you have something that looks like this?" Yes, we can go towards those items. With the AI functionality in the websites and the sales tools, my sales team doesn't have to know every single item because they can search for a similar product and get to it. And truthfully, it also makes them look like they know a lot more of the product to their customer because they can go through it and get to it faster, which is what the customers want. They could scroll through our website on their own. They want the rep to be able to direct them.
Makes sense.
One
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Cameron.
Sorry, I was going to add one thing that I think is really important too. Tools like WizCommerce and a well-built site that's easy to navigate help unearth some of the gems inside of an assortment. As you grow into thousands of SKUs, and Colleen, I mean, like you could probably say the same thing. The catalog becomes so big that if you don't have an easy way to navigate it, customers miss all of the product that is available. They only see the latest and greatest, or they're looking for something, they want to find it in 60 seconds or less. Those are some of the exercises as you're building a site or building an experience. Real life scenarios like, um, you know, put a cart together for with a curated selection in under 3 minutes for this type of look, or go and find this product and check out in less than 60 seconds. Those are the real life scenarios to kind of run through to help build the best experience.
Well, and I think to your point that, they're giving us a very short amount of time on our website, right? So if they go to those new introductions, one of the things for us that's super important is that we have control over our site and we have control over the content where it looks. If they go to a new intro page and your new introductions aren't sorted by what's in stock currently, and it's just kind of sorted by whatever item number or something like that, the customer may go to that page and see a bunch of your new introductions as out of stock and think, oh, well, I'm not looking here, and they move on to something else. So it does give us the ability to guide that experience also, to showcase the items that we really want them to see and all of those kinds of things.
Interesting. And I think that was going to be my next section, which is how do you design a site that actually help buyers make a decision? So you, Cameron, and Colleen, you basically search and discovery and just making sure that they can get to the right product faster. So that's a key sort of key thing that you want to invest in any platform you choose. What I think taking a step back, I think maybe you can start from like how did you even discover like okay, what are the core things that I need this website to do? Because a lot of people are starting from a blank slate and it's confusing. Like there's so many platforms out there. Everybody will all the platforms will try to confuse you and sell you like their capabilities. So how do you make a short list of like, hey, these need to be my must have, and where do you start that process of collecting that information?
I
And
think that's a combination of talking to the customers, right? Hearing their feedback of your existing site and hearing them tell you what they love or don't love about it. For us personally, we did a lot of research on other sites to see what was a smooth looking process, what was what we liked visually, what we liked from a functionality standpoint. Um, and then we kind of made a wish list based on what we thought would be really cool, not knowing whether it was possible or not. Um, and so we had that kind of pie in the sky wish list. For us in choosing a website also, and the sales tools and all of that, we really leaned on the partners that we were going to be talking to about what their functionality was, because in some instances you don't know what questions to ask. We know what our experience is. We know some things that we would like to see, but maybe you guys had a functionality or a feature that we didn't know anything about that would have been really cool. So we're leaning on the partner as well to help us build that cohesive site.
got it. Cameron, what about you? Like, how was the RFP created? How many buyers did you have to talk to? Were there surveys? Like, what was the actual process of acquiring all that information?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. My first recommendation is keep it simple. Something that can grow together with you as time evolves. Something that has flexibility. Most importantly, choose a good partner, someone that is on your side and listens to all of your thoughts and ideas and helps record them and categorize them. We talked a lot with reps, we talked a lot with designers and the core group of customers that are going to be utilizing it to understand what is the best experience. And then, like Colleen said, looking at peers, looking across the industry, looking to create something that's visually appealing, that hits the mark just with everyone else out of the gate, knowing that there would be an evolution. It was really simple. I mean, when I think back to my past life, looking at active accounts online is a really easy way to understand whether the investment was worth it. The percent of revenue touching the site, reductions in manual order entry. So we kept it very basic in the beginning. Um, and that's important because if you try and build something that's way too complicated, it becomes this daunting task. You just want to get to launch, and it's possible to do it in all less than a year when you keep it simple.
I think one thing we can help the audience take away from this is like, hey, these are the core things that you need to like make sure that your website has. So maybe we can help create that list on this webinar. So maybe Cameron, you can mention a few must-haves that you had, and then Cameron, you can add to the list, and Colin, you can add to the list.
Sure.
Yeah, I think a must-have. I mean, we all have product data. Attributes are what drives a lot of the shopping experience. And having stood up a PIM, which is a product information management system for those that are unaware, it's just a way to store product data and deliver it to a website or to a WizCommerce or to an e-commerce trade partner. But product data is the foundation of everything. You can make or break your entire experience, but having product data that makes sense for the way buyers shop and allows you to digest and break down the catalog very easily and to find what you're looking for. That's a must have. It's table stakes in delivering a digital experience. A lot of organizations have it today, may live in a spreadsheet. It could live in multiple places, but that is a key ingredient into making your catalog easy to navigate.
I mean, I think that for us, as simple as it sounds, we needed, with a collection like we have that has so many different product categories and all of that, the search functionality was super important. We wanted to be able to filter things. We wanted to be able to, filter by 10 different options, right? And not just five. For us, it was also functionality. You know, we wanted to make sure if you searched for something or you clicked into something that you went back to the page that you were previously at, it didn't kick you all the way back to the home page, and that um, it needs to be intuitive also. We've worked with a couple of websites that the the developers thought that it was intuitive, but they developed it, and that's kind of always that issue, right? Um, so you want a website that's intuitive. The intent for that is to be your sales arm when your sales force is not available to you or to your customers. And to Cameron's point, having all of the data be able to be housed there where you want it to be, all of the imagery that you want to be there. We spend a lot of money on photography, not we specifically, but as companies in this industry on photography and data and all of those things, and it doesn't do any of us any good if we can't show it to anybody. So, and making that experience, utilizing all of our tools and making that experience as easy as possible for the customers is a must have, no matter what. If it's not easy, they'll walk. They'll go somewhere that it is.
Interesting. And on the user experience bit, like I think a lot of people feel like it's going to be very hard. Like I don't know anything about user experience, UX, and there are all sorts of like these agencies that will quote you like hundreds of thousands of dollars to create a website design. So talk through some of those decisions. Like was it, uh, Colleen, that difficult for you? And I think you and Bree pretty much came up with everything, and you knew pretty much everything that you wanted from day one.
I think that more money doesn't mean better. And we talked to a number of different companies that built websites. And what we found in some instances was the more money you spent on building the website, the more people you had to work on it on a daily basis from your own side. And that wasn't something that we wanted. Bree and I built the website together from, she has a tech background. She's also worked on the wholesale end. I've been, doing all of this with Howard Elliott for all these years. So we knew what people wanted. Um, it didn't have to be complicated. It didn't have to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. It needed to do what we needed it to do. And we needed to be able to manage it on the fly. One of our biggest frustrations in the past was having a website that if you needed to make a change to any data at all whatsoever, you had to wait for 24 hours until the data updated. Well, I can't do that. If I have a price that's wrong, I can't wait 24 hours and hope nobody orders it at that price, or you've got to pull something down or whatever it is. So it was important to us that we found a partner that didn't overpromise and underdeliver, because we've been down that road before. And I think we've talked to you a lot about this. One of the things that we've been so pleased with Wiz is that um, you guys are under promising and over delivering. You're developing so fast and relevant tools, right? Um, one of the other things that we've appreciated in this process also, it was hard for us in the past to work with somebody that wasn't developing. We've worked with other websites that got lost in the weeds of things that weren't relevant to their customer, which is us. Therefore, the things that our customers needed weren't getting done. Um, so that continuous growth and being nimble was important. Sorry, I rambled.
Yeah, you made a very good point. Like you can have the best design on day one and add hundreds of animations, but you also have to think about like, hey, will I be able to manage this down the line?
Mhm.
How difficult will it be to upload and launch a new product? And I think Cameron, I mean, maybe you can talk through like I think Jaipur Living has you have a Magento website. You how like you need a kind of setup to be able to launch a website on Magento and to keep it running, right? Like it's not two business users who can just come and like get things done. So whatever platform you choose also comes with like kind of the team you need to build to manage that. And so maybe you can just touch upon that and you've seen different platforms. So what are some of those trade-offs?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's a trade-off. So this is my second time around working in Magento, and there's a reason why these businesses chose Magento. There's certain functionality and choices that are made on the front end, but they have consequences. Like Colleen said, like ease of managing the day to day is a decision you have to make. How invested am I as far as time goes? Not every site has to be complicated. It can be really simple. You really can you can do a lot in a very short amount of time with a very small budget. And I think Colleen said this, there's kind of a correlation. Just because it costs more doesn't mean it's better.
Mhm.
Technology has moved so fast, and with the integration of AI and all of the tools and resources out there, a lot can be done on a very small budget. And it's interesting to see the evolution of how that's happened in just a short few years. But the key to being able to make updates in real time and connecting as much of your existing today is important. And if I were thinking about a site ground up build today, I'd be thinking about product data, the user experience. What do we need to deliver? Simple day one, checkout,
Mhm.
payment options, digestion of a large catalog or a small catalog, the who we are as a brand, making sure that that comes through. It doesn't need to all be fancy automations. Search nav that is very easy to utilize. A few plugins or a few options that don't have to be insanely expensive can help deliver a great experience. Um, but there are definitely trade-offs, and you have to think about those trade-offs every day.
Yeah. I think one thing that people don't think about is like you can get extreme flexibility. Like, there are open source platforms like Magento being one and the enterprise level platforms, but then you should ideally have a team internally who can work on those tools and they have to be technical enough. Uh, because I have seen a lot of companies, Cameron, that buy Magento when they don't have like it's a 5 people team trying to run a Magento website, and then you're working with an external developer, and those projects just keep going on and on and on because the external developer has no idea about your world, and you churn through these freelancers very, very quickly. So if you are buying a Magento or an open source website, like which gives you extreme flexibility, then you better hire a team, right? A full-time team to sort of work on it. And maybe you can talk through some of like what that team looks like, just to give people some perspective on.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. If you're buying Magento, you are signing yourselves up for constant need of additional resources. It's not a small team that can manage a Magento site. And if you're making that decision, you have to really look at, well, why do I need this site? What are the benefits, and are they mission critical and that important? Shopify has made a great out of the box, easy to use platform that's much different than Magento and can be managed with a lot less. There's other options outside of Magento. So I don't want to steer anyone in any direction. I think just eyes wide open. Is the problem that I have solvable with a platform that is simple, easy to scale from? But a Magento site requires you to have developers, designers, a more technical staff to maintain and keep it updated. Once you see the results from having a functioning B2B platform, it creates excitement and you're going to want to iterate. And the results don't come on day one. It takes a few days. So as you think for in the future, as you start to see that snowball gain traction, you're going to want to invest and make it even better than what it is. So how flexible is what I'm getting myself into, and how many options are out there?
Yeah, makes sense. I think I'll take an audience question now. The question is, Colleen, I think you mentioned that you're getting new buyers on the website that have never shopped with you before, that have probably not seen you at a trade show. And I think, Cameron, you also invest a lot of resources and time in like getting new visitors and traffic and things like that. So I think the question is, yeah, what are you doing that's driving this traffic? Like, where are these people? How are these people finding you? And what's kind of the source of this new segment of buyers that are now coming to you?
Well, I mean, it's not just a if you build it, they will come situation by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, we have to, we're marketing the new website. We're doing some targeted marketing with some outside, Google teams and things like that to just, you have to get eyes on it. And going meeting our customers where they are, right? Even if they're not our customers yet, has been really important for us. So we're approaching, whether that's doing targeted Facebook or Instagram ads or doing more on social media, we're starting to provide more data and information. Really utilizing the tools, and it may be somebody that it's not always somebody who hasn't seen us in person, but sometimes it's that person who gets scanned in a showroom 4 years ago and has never done anything since then, and that was their only engagement with them. Um, we're constantly inviting people to the website, but I've been really impressed with seeing the new people. And I think some of that has to do with partnerships also. I know JPOR does a lot of partnerships and, with designers and that kind of thing. And Howard Elliott's working on those kinds of things as well. And the more fans that you can create out in the marketplace, the more people you're going to get to come to your site.
Yeah. Cameron, what's been working for you guys when?
Yeah, I mean, I think just to kind of piggyback off what Colleen is saying, showing up where they're already today. So I'll use social media as an example. I mean, I've sat down with panels of buyers. I've talked with them one-on-one. They are out there looking for inspiration in all different venues, and social media is one of them. Instagram. I didn't realize how many designers 3 years ago were utilizing Instagram for inspiration, that were using it with their clients. They were creating Instagram pages for a client to go and visit, where they would share posts, back and forth, or they would post things specifically for the client. So JPOR does a lot with social media. We do a lot with Google. Likely everyone possibly on this call today is doing it and they're not even realizing, but the minute you go and list your product on a Wayfair, an Amazon, Overstock, Bed Bath & Beyond, any e-commerce platform, you show up digitally, and there's people that are going to become exposed to your brand. You can start the journey today by making sure that your brand information is in there, that you're well represented where you are today, because people are exposed to your brand. It's an ecosystem, and that is, it's not, while not free necessarily, it's the basics to showing up well in the digital space.
Yeah. And I think we have one of our customers, like they get about 60, 70 signups every month. And it's usually like retailers seeing their products at other retailers, but then they're able to go online and find them, and then they're able to retain them and like sort of service them through the website. So it's also like the network effects of just having your product out there in that area with other retailers. But you then need to have at least a well-functioning website for those customers to come in. And they were maybe coming in before as well, but they just had no way to uh, see the collection, see the pricing, and things like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
you never want a customer to say, I love Howard Elliott, but their website's so hard to use, so we don't buy from them very often. You want them to be, there's no buts in the statement, right? We love them, their website's great, you should look at them. And we see a lot of that, on the website when somebody registers, there's a question of like, how did you hear about us? Um, and we do see a lot of social media or colleagues or that kind of thing, which I always find to be really interesting.
yeah. Yeah, if you have a good website and a good experience, like word of mouth is the best marketing, and other people will tell their friends. And I think designer community is very tight, and I think the retailer community is very tight. So people do talk to each other. Um, I think coming to sort of, we were talking about design, and just to wrap up this section, maybe Colleen, you can talk about a few features that you have gotten a lot of praise from your customers on your website, and maybe Cameron, you can add to that list so that people do take away like, hey, these kinds of things that really create that delightful experience.
There's two things that really stand out for us. The suggested, so I'll lump all of the AI into one, but for us, our AI functions in a couple of different ways of if they're looking at a product and that product is out of stock, um, the website is giving them related similar products to what they're looking at that's in stock only. So, in the past, you could build that in and say, okay, associate these items together. AI on our website is doing that on its own and only showing the customers what they can have. Because that's a really frustrating thing to the customers to see something, oh, view these similar items, and they're like, oh, that one's great, it would really work for us, but that's out of stock too. So that part's been really great. And I think, because the experience is the same, whether they're logged in or not, especially, I don't even want to say especially the designers, because our retailers really like it as well, where they could show the product to one of their customers, one of their retail customers, a design client, something like that, and not worry that A, they're not going to be able to show them all the information about a product, or B, that the customer is going to see any pricing, because we've created that barrier for them. And again, it's a sales tool for them. It's a sales tool for the designer. It's a sales tool for the retailer. Um, it's super important to be able to have great imagery. And designers in particular love it when they can click on it and download the big image. They don't have to go through a bunch of things. There's not a lot of hoops to jump through. They've just got the information there. So I think ease is super important.
Yeah, I think we have, and Colin will kill me if you didn't know about this feature already, but we have this feature in the website called retailer mode. What that does is basically the retailer can be logged in and hides all the pricing. So
I won't tell you whether I know about that or not.
but got it. So basically, out of stock recommendations if the item is out of stock, uh,
Mhm.
a sales tool for designers so that they can show products without
Yeah.
having to show pricing. And it's interesting. We've been talking to designers just to understand what we could add on our website and stuff like that. And I think one thing designers said is like when they start a project, they don't even contact any of the reps. And this I heard from a couple of them. They said, I don't contact anyone. The first thing I do is I go on the website. I look at the images, I look at the products, and I put them all in my mood board and presentation that I take to the client. Like actually talking and getting into pricing, that comes way down the funnel for these designers. So literally, like if your website isn't there, they'll just skip you completely from the whole process. So um,
Huh.
yeah. Cameron, anything to add to that list?
Yeah, I mean, I think the credit for digital assets and imagery and inspiration, and it's so easy to focus on. As you ask this question, I'm thinking to myself, man, I could tell you really easily what we need to do better and what we need to chase and what we're, working on iterating on becomes so much more of the focus because everything else is just, it's the existing of today. But credit for inventory availability and a customer service chat and just being able to easily place an order 24 hours a day and check out is really the what we get credit for today.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. I think my team is telling me that I have really ran through the questions and we only have 4 5 minutes left. So I'm gonna try and just cover the last section. And I think the question is like, how do you drive adoption of the website? And I think we touched upon a little bit of that, but I think maybe we can just give the audience a few tactical ways in which if they do launch a website, how do you drive traffic to it? How do you get buyers to use it? And what strategies you can kind of use to achieve all that? So maybe Cameron will start with you. What are your top two, three ways that have worked? And I'm sure you've tried 20 things and a few kind of delivered those results. So maybe you can just sort of narrow down those top two, three ways that helped you.
Well, I'm going to start with the what didn't work. A deck in an email or just emails don't work. And I learned that the hard way. Um, when you get reps engaged and customer service engaged and marketing teams engaged with prototypes and shaping a workflow, that's when we saw real adoption. Training or trying real scenarios. I think I said this before, but you're on the phone with a designer. How do you build a cart and email a curated selection in 3 minutes? Um, when we led with the what's in it for them, saved carts projects, live inventory, easy reorders or easy orders, access to assets, which Colleen touched on a little bit. It made user adoption that much better. And then the recommendations, suggestions, reps wanting to engage with customers and source feedback and understand how we could iterate, it just pushed us to move that much faster with the next round of iterations because they were excited. They're the best
Mm.
source sometimes of feedback in the field because you're not going to get out and touch every state in a matter of a week or two.
Got it.
And I think in a similar way, I mean, for us, not only internally but externally, it was, to Cameron's point, nobody reads. They're not going to go through a full deck in your email. They're not going to do all of that. They'll watch a video. They want to see a pretty picture. So we promoted a lot to the customers. We were promoting a lot on social media. Did you know our website could do this? Did you know you could find this on Howard Elliott? That kind of thing. With the Salesforce, we're actually constantly sending them short videos that are less than 2 or 3 minutes long to say, here's how this function works. Here's how this feature works. And then saving it for them so that they can go back and look at that. And being able to show them exactly how the tools work and how great it is for them to utilize with their customer does help them adopt it. You cannot force, especially for a sales force, to assume that they're going to just figure it out on their own is a wrong assumption. Not that they're not capable of it, but they're trying to generate business. We need to make it as easy as possible for them to utilize our tools to generate more business.
And Colleen, I think and Cameron, for both of you, do discounts work? Like, hey, X percentage off on your first order through our website. Like, do those incentives work either for the rep force or for the customers? And should
They
you
do to a
not?
certain extent. The hard part about it is um, you really have to look at who you're targeting for that
Hmm.
because and is it ever long? So is it just it's always going to be up there, and for any customer that places their first order on the website, they're going to get a discount, or we only do it for a certain amount of time? Oftentimes, I think when companies offer discounts, um, they're trying to generate immediate sales, and that's really hard to do depending upon who your customer is. Designers can't always order right now because they're ordering per project. So it's a slippery slope with that. But I mean, I think if you're able to run it for an extended amount of time, then yeah, it can work.
Yeah,
Cameron.
I think if you're running a D2C website, yes, incentive to buy, purchase, discounts make a lot of sense. But for our world, a premium brand, discounts really don't move the needle as much as good service, a great website, speed to get a sample. Those are where we spend money and focus on because that drives the most meaningful results.
Yeah, I think I think that's true because in business to business, like nobody is buying just for the sake of it. So if they even if you give a discount, if I don't have an active project, I might not sort of come and just buy for vanity. But I think just summarizing the things that you told us, it's like a collective effort of the whole organization. So if orders are coming into the customer service team's job is to like, hey, we have a website and you can do this much more easily there. If the reps are getting a ton of emails and customers asking them questions about inventory, then the reps telling the customer, hey, you can actually check out inventory here. Here's a way for you to do it. So basically just turning customers to the website for the resources, etc. And that kind of becomes a collective team effort. And that's what you're saying works the best.
Oh,
Got it. Okay, perfect. I think we're in 2025, so we can't really end a conversation without talking about AI. And so just question, and this is a broader question, where all are you using AI in your day-to-day at work? What tools, etc., are driving value? Could be around website, could be around something else. So maybe I'll start with you, Colleen, and then go to Cameron.
I mean, constantly. And I think it's interesting because I was talking to a customer who said, I don't Google anything anymore. I just ask AI.
Yeah.
And um, you know, it's interesting because I think the people that are adopting AI outside of websites and outside of our internal website, um, you know, it's becoming kind of a personal assistant. It's a sounding board in some cases. Can you help me rewrite this email so that it sounds X or Y or Z? Or can you show me an image of this? I mean, I use it a lot for inspiration. I use it for helping me formulate a email that makes a little sense. Now, of course, if you're going to use AI to help you, you do actually have to read through what it's given you because it's very evident when you've used it. But my 14-year-old niece uses it for school all the time, and she uploads her test questions, her quizzes, and has it quiz her back. I mean, there are unlimited ways to use it, but it's one of those buyer beware situations because it's not foolproof.
Cameron, what about you?
Oh, I mean, we use it every day, multiple use cases, everything from, I think Colleen touched last on the email iteration, help me improve an email to, it's essentially like a personal assistant. But I think the applications that have made the biggest difference, improving product data, is one that I think is the most effective, and you do need human oversight. Utilizing it to generate imagery.
Mhm.
It's come a long way in a very short amount of time, and only gets better every week, sometimes every day. Is huge. We use it to analyze data, research. It can do an insane amount of research in such a short amount of time. It's endless and it's moving so fast. We're looking at AI search options. Yeah, I could go on and on, but I'll pause there.
Got it. I think, I mean, we've been working with a lot of AI agents now. I think Wiz Studio is one product which is
Mhm.
Yeah.
helping drastically cut down the expense and increasing the speed of getting products to market. One of the new things that we've introduced is Ella, which is, um, I think a lot of people are used to chat GPT, like, hey, do this for me, and that kind of assistant workflow. But there are like the part about AI that is interesting is it can actually solve a lot more complex problems and also do a lot of things autonomously. So just cutting down like a lot of the things that humans used to do and that they just don't like. So Ella is actually one of our new introductions, which helps automate order entry. So takes any orders you get on emails, text messages, and kind of pushes it into the ERP. And an interesting statistic about that is like only 25% of a sales rep's time actually goes into selling, and the 75% time goes into admin work. So it's we realize that a lot of reps enter orders into WizCommerce platform, but they actually receive those orders via text and email. So it's really not coming from a direct conversation with the customer. It's coming to them just through the customer. Customer has already decided, send them an order, and then they're sitting for like 5, 10, 15 minutes trying to enter it. So it's an attempt to sort of cut down some of that manual work and give reps more time to sell. We'll show us quick video and then kind of move on to summarizing the overall discussion.
Every day, hundreds of purchase orders flood your inbox. Your team spends hours typing, fixing, and entering data. As your business grows, so do the orders and the chaos. Meet Ella, your AI order entry assistant. Ella automatically reads purchase orders in any format, turning inbox PO into ERP-ready order in seconds. Let's see it in action. A purchase order arrives in your inbox and gets forwarded to Ella. Ella automatically extracts all the important details from the purchase order: PO number, shipping and billing addresses, SKU IDs, pricing, and more. Ella then creates a draft order for you. Click the View Order link to review the draft. Here, Ella has already populated all the details, from customer name to addresses and product info. Ella even catches price differences. If you'd like to use the catalog price, just click Apply and it's updated. You can also make edits, change payment terms, add discounts, or adjust anything else. Once everything looks good, just click Submit Order. The order is sent directly to your ERP with all the details mapped and ready for your approval. With Ella, everything happens automatically. 3 times faster order entry, 90% fewer data entry errors, 4+ hours saved per rep each day. Hire Ella today.
Perfect. I'll try and summarize our discussion today. Number one, thank you so much for answering all these questions. But I'll try and summarize it. Like you need to build a B2B website today because a lot of buyers are digitally native. Lesser and lesser buyers are going to trade shows, and buyers want to operate on their time and shop whenever they want to. You should define outcomes and success very simply, like, hey, how many orders am I getting digitally without any human intervention? How much time is it taking, saving my team in manually entering these orders? So kind of just hold yourself accountable to those top level KPIs, at least in the first year. Um, Keep it simple when you're launching a website. Don't overcomplicate your life. Just talk to customers, understand what's most important to them. Some of the things we highlighted were make search and discovery a top priority given the number of SKUs that people have in this space. Uh, Make it informational. Make sure your inventory is updated. Make sure they can see if an item is out of stock, when is it coming back in. Um, and they have access to good images and all the information they need to make a decision or to pitch to their end customer as well. On adoption, make it a company priority. It's not just the job of the e-commerce team or the marketing team to drive adoption, but it's a company level mandate. It should be on the customer service team to direct people to the website. It should be on reps to direct people to the website. And sort of overall as a company sort of track that KPI and discuss it as a company, not just as an individual team. Anything else? Anything, Colleen, Cameron, that I missed that you feel like is super important for people to take away?
I don't think so.
No, I think you hit it.
Perfect. No, thank you so much for your time, Cameron and Colleen, and I'm sure people will reach out to you if they have more questions. We will circulate a recording for everyone. We want to do a lot more of these webinars and bring in industry experts people who've gone through similar transformation that other people are thinking about. So we have a feedback link in the chat. It's a very small feedback form, so we really appreciate if the audience can fill the form and tell us what else can we do, how can we improve these webinars, what other topics could be helpful for the audience. But thank you so much for joining today, and happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Div.